So we have today someone special in the studio with us. Is a rather accomplished individual, NFL player, Heisman Trophy winner, baseball player, TV commentator, and first-time visitor to Israel.
Yes.
Tim Tebow, welcome to
Thanks,
the studio.
brother. Appreciate it.
It's great having you with us.
Thank you. I'm excited.
And
look at this view you got here.
It's not bad.
It's pretty good.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah. We were just talking about everything we could see here from biblical times. It's incredible.
Yeah, we get used to it. I'm here every day. But I see the
You
excitement.
can't let it get old, though.
Yeah.
It's too
But
cool.
people who are here, yeah, it's a special place. Special place. So, Tim, what are you doing here?
Well,
We
I'm
used to
here.
see you on TV in America or on the field in America. What are you doing in Israel?
I'm here with my family, and actually, last Saturday night, the Heisman Trophy ceremony finished, and we literally went right to the airport. We got on a plane, and we flew here, and we've been hanging out all week, not really hanging out. We've been traveling, seeing everything we possibly can, and it's been an absolutely incredible trip so far.
Okay, so for those who can't see behind the cameras,
Yes.
is your extended family.
Yes,
So
I
you're
got my 4 siblings, some of their kids, mom and dad, friends, one of our pastors from back home, so it's just been incredible.
What an awesome way to tour the country.
Yeah, it's been really great.
So how's it been?
It's been awesome. I mean, we've been everywhere. The trip's only halfway done, but we've been so many different places, and it's been amazing.
What struck you most in the country?
Gosh, I don't know. I guess probably how much it brings the Bible to life, and being able to talk about the details and really piece things together to where it kind of makes that full puzzle where you can understand it that much more. And you know, we can be in the Sea of Galilee, we can swim in the Dead Sea, we can be in Capernaum, we can be in Masada and Gadi and all the different places, Caesarea Philippi, and all those places have
You've
just
been
been so.
everywhere.
We've been a lot of places, and now just in Jerusalem.
Good stuff. And you mentioned you had a special time in the Dead Sea?
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was so cool. I think it was like an Epsom bath on steroids, and it was so cool. And I loved just swimming in it, and it was just so fun.
That's good stuff. That's really good stuff. We mentioned before, you're a bit of a different type of people who come to Israel. You're young, you're in the middle of your career. A lot of people come here towards the end. It's a long flight, it's a long trip. You know, was it worthwhile coming to Israel for you?
Oh my gosh, it was absolutely worthwhile. You know, this has just been such an incredible trip. I mean, I think deciding in what and in who you put your faith in is the most important decision you will ever make in your life. And for me, deciding to be a Jesus follower and choosing to be a Christian when I was young was the most important decision I ever made. And now getting the chance to come to Israel and experience where Jesus was and the disciples, and be able to bring all the stories that we've talked about and we've looked at and we've researched and I've heard my whole life, and now getting to piece them together that much more, it'll make people like me leave that much more inspired to live out your faith in an even more deeper way.
Do you feel like the story sort of connected when you were here on the ground?
I do. I think they connect from story to story. I think you can, you know, so many pastors do a great job of telling stories, but it's really hard to connect one story to another and really understand the lineage and how how it just kind of, you know, weave throughout history. And I think, but being here really brings it to life that much more.
That's interesting. That's good stuff. I want to ask you something about the U.S. and you've done a bunch of careers. You're 31 years old?
Yes.
You've done a bunch of careers, the football, the baseball, you've been on TV a bunch. And I'm an Israeli, I'm watching all this unfold. And what I find to be very interesting is you've been very, very bold about your faith. But not in a religious way, and I'm not saying that in an offensive way, I'm saying in just like being very open about it, attributing success in your life to God's influence and involvement in it, being just constantly open about all these things. I'll give you an example. I mentioned to my mom, she runs pro-life in Israel. I mentioned, oh, Tim Tebow, something. She's like, oh, this is amazing. I was like, how do you even know who he is? She's not. And she said, okay, you speak up about pro-life, and you speak up about your relationship with God. And you've done it on the field and on television. Can you just, in a nutshell, say, where you got the boldness to do that and why you were so, open about it?
Well, I would say probably where I got the boldness is from my dad, and I have so little boldness compared to him. but just being able to watch him his whole life live out his faith and go share the love of Jesus around the world. And that's where I was born, in the Philippines, and being able to see him do it. And then I'm also a big believer is, every day we share our faith, but every now and then we use words, and we share our faith more than anything with our actions, with how we treat people, how we love people. And, we're called to love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love our neighbor as ourselves. And, for me, my emphasis has being, able to love Jesus as best I can, and to try to love people, and to show what I believe and how I treat people, how I talk to people, how I live, in my actions first and foremost. And then when people, can see your actions, and then hopefully they meet, they live up to what you say, and those two kind of meet, then I think you have an opportunity, hopefully, to impact people for the better.
But if I could say, looking from the side, what a lot of people have trouble with is when they get successful, they forget to give credit where it's due. And I've seen you repeatedly, even say, no, it came from God, it's because of, you know what I mean? Well, you maintain the humbleness about it.
I think we have to understand what success really is. And I did an interview maybe like 10 years ago, and this lady sat me down and she said, Timmy, you've won the Heisman Trophy, and you've won the national championships, and you have a chance to go to the NFL and make money. You would consider your life a success, right? And I said, yes, ma'am, I would, but it's not for any of those reasons. I said, I would consider my life a success because I have a relationship with the God of this universe through his son Jesus and what he did on the cross. And every single one of us has that opportunity because he died for every single one of us, and he loves us, and he wants us to adopt it. He wants to adopt us into his family. And my life's not a success because people know my name or because I won any championships or award. I promise people will forget my name and they'll forget any awards that I ever won. But what you do for Jesus is ultimately what will matter and what will live for eternity. And so I want my life to be bigger and more important and transcend a game, because ultimately a game's just a game. People will forget who wins and loses.
Yes,
but
definitely.
But what you do for Jesus, I believe that will last forever. And so that's why I want to have a life of trying to encourage and inspire people to seek after Jesus. And I want to be as a Jesus follower, and that's why being here is just so special.
Those are all really good points. And you're sort of in an interesting place now. And you say, yes, everything is, due to God and is to his glory. But you're in an interesting place publicly, because a lot of people, they have a following and listening inside the church or inside a religious movement or a certain following. And I don't want to say transcended, but you've sort of gone an alternate route where you're on television and people who don't go to church get to listen to you. And people who are online or following sports news or whatever it is, they get to hear your messages through, excellence in sports and through all that stuff, but they're still hearing this core gospel message that you're really good at pronouncing. And my question would be, what is the next step of that? Where do you see that taking you in 5-10 years down the line?
I'm not really sure. I don't know what's in store for me. I don't know what God has next. I'm excited about whatever it is. I do know that I really believe my biggest passion and calling is what we're doing at the Tim Tebow Foundation, which our mission statement is to bring faith, hope, and love to those needing a brighter day in their darkest hour of need. And we're doing that in over 23 countries. And we have a hospital where we're bringing kids in for free, and we're operating, we're loving, we're caring, we're sharing Jesus with them. We have over 2,600 orphans we're taking care of, and in 6 different nations. We're helping kids that have special needs find a forever family and adoption. So we're doing whatever we can to push back darkness and love people as best we can. And so I do believe that's my greatest calling, and that's my purpose. And so I know I'll be doing that for the rest of my life, Lord willing, and whatever else, we'll see.
That's a good answer. So you have a new book out. It's called This Is the Day.
Yep.
Can you tell us a bit about the book and where we can find it?
Yeah, I'm sure you can find it kind of everywhere online or in a bunch of stores, but I titled it This Is the Day as, I was inspired in several different ways to title it This Is the Day. Is one of those reasons because my dad got Parkinson's, and so that was something that really inspired me. Is the people that you have around you, your loved ones, you don't know how many days you're going to have with them, and so this is the day to tell them that you love them, to spend time with them, to be able to create those family moments and those special moments. And then it was also going back to the word, this is the day that Lord has made, I will rejoice and be glad in it. And so every day that we wake up, we can wake up as oh shoot, I got to get through through the day, or you know what, today's a blessing, it's an opportunity. I can live today on purpose, with meaning, with passion, with purpose, and I can, I can go after what God has put on my heart. I can go after my dreams. I can go after what really matters. I can fight for what's right, and I don't want to be one of those people that waits till one day I'm going to get right with God. One day I'm going to go on a mission trip. One day I'm going to help the people around me. I want to be that person that this is that day, that when I wake up today, I want to live today with purpose, passion, and meaning, going after the things that matter. And so I wanted to encourage people that life's not about one day, it's about this day. And let's wake up with that mindset, and then understanding what we can accomplish and who we can be, and how we can pursue what God has on our heart. And I also believe a lot of times people don't do that because of the fear that creeps in front of them, whether that's doubt or it's insecurities or it's a fear of failure. And man, if I go after my dreams and I fall flat, I'm going to be embarrassed. And you know what? I encourage people, that's okay. You might fail, you might fall short, but whoever said that's the worst thing? And you know what, we just, I think one of the greatest failures is letting fear and other people define your life and not being able to go after what your heart, because we're not going to make any shots we don't take. And if you want to be a dreamer and believer, then I'm someone that believe we serve a big God and believe big things are possible, and I want to go after it. I want to be someone that pushes the boundaries and believes in the most and believes in the biggest, and fights for that. And you know what, sometimes if you may get made fun of or you fall short, that's okay. At least I don't have to look back when I'm 50 and say, I regret not going after it because of what everyone was going to tell me.
That's awesome. I really love how you tie the competitive side of it, but also tie it into the gospel and say that this is what it really looks like to live, life to its fullest, and I don't want to say on the edge, but
that's the edge is okay.
But you know
though.
what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. That's really good stuff. And I want to go back to the Israel side of things.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this before, and my personal experience is I often see people who come too late in life to Israel. And it's not about, we're just a country like any other country, just people, food, whatever, like any other country. But it's the connection between the narrative of God and being physically there that does a lot. It sort of clicks a lot of things into place for people. And I always, when I see someone your age group or someone younger even come here, I want you to encourage other people to do the same thing.
Yeah.
To get that vision and come and sort of experience and take it for themselves, rather than just rely on the news or hearing stories and that kind of stuff.
Well, I think sometimes when we're in church and we're reading the Bible, it's really hard to kind of piece it together and understand it, because it takes a lot of studying, and it takes wise counsel, and it takes great pastors. But I really think when you're able to come here, you're able to piece so much of that together and understand it, and understand the lineage, and holistically have a better view of the gospel and of Jesus and the disciples, and oh my gosh, this is where this happened, and this is how it relates to here, and totally. Okay, this is where he would have walked, and so that makes sense that he would have come here next, and that is what's so special. And I would encourage young people. I think it's amazing to be able to come here and see where, like you said earlier, run where Jesus walked, because that's what we're doing. But it's incredible.
Thank you. That's really good stuff. Tim, thank you for taking the time to come
down
down here.
Yes, my pleasure. Absolutely.
For allowing us to pull you away from your family.
Thank you for sharing this view.
Come anytime you want, anytime you're in town.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. God bless, man.
You too.